Hi, welcome back to Crepe Myrtle Journals. It's August in Arkansas, so it's stinking hot. But we're going to talk about coffee. We're going to talk about making miniature journaling cards, and it's going to be this coffee shape. And I actually had everything set up I actually turned this one into kind of a flip with a couple of pages behind it. And I put an origami coffee bean on top of it. But I was talking about making your own stencils so that you can make unique journaling cards. This is from my very first journal that I made about 3 years ago, and it's the only one I've written in and actually used. But that has this wonderful example in it. So I'm going to set that aside to talk about making a journaling card with you and how to make your own stencil. Here is one I made, the large size, like directly from that book, and this was the stencil I used. And I put a little tuck in the underneath this this sleeve that you would hold your hot coffee with. I left it open so you could tuck in a card. So that was the original one that I made, but I started going smaller, thinking about miniatures. So I wanted to show you how you can just sketch. This was one I made, and then I thought, well, I'll show you how to make your own sketch. You simply, sketch to the right and left of a line of symmetry. It does not have to be perfect. Once you cut it out, it's going to be fine. The reason I love the miniatures so much in a junk journal is because people enjoy them so much. When they come across something tiny in your junk journal, they just enjoy it so much. You can put something here on that little sleeve that keeps you from burning your hands. Maybe you can add a little decor here. But this, once you cut this out, this literally becomes your stencil to help you make this top piece that you use and to make this sleeve band here. But once I made that, I thought, well, that's so tiny. I'm not sure I really want it to be that small. So I went a little bit bigger and made another stencil a little bit bigger. And that's how I made this one. So that is the prototype, And what I'm using is I'm recycling some packaging from popsicles. It is, after all, August, so I've really been enjoying these popsicles. But when I open the package, and you'll find yourself doing this too, if you get the junk journal fever, you're going to see materials everywhere. And when I saw the interior of these boxes, I thought, oh my goodness, that brown color looks like someone coffee dyed it, or looks kind of mottled or marbled. I am going to use that in junk journals. So this is literally going to be our base. So I'm going to use the stencil I made a little while ago. And I think I'm going to use the back side so that I don't have pencil lines showing up. I don't like pencil lines showing up. And I'm trying to decide what pen to use. It won't be visible, so I'll use this one. So you just trace make sure I'm not marking my other stencils. There we go. Just trace your stencil that you made onto your backing or base that you're going to make. And then you can make this same journaling card over and over and over and over, which is wonderful. Once you have a great idea, you can run with it, because you can use that same idea in journal after journal after journal. So just cut out your base. One nice thing about making it homemade is that it's okay if it's not perfect. I aim for making it look neat and tidy, unless I'm really kind of intentionally making something grungy. But it is really enjoyable to make something beautiful out of a piece of trash or junk. Okay, so there is my base, and I have discovered in using this material, I've used this material now for several times this summer. Once I discovered the interior of that box, it is very easy to pull off the slick packaging side, and it makes your journal card have less bulk, and it's easier to glue things onto a surface that's not slick. So this will be the writing surface on that side, and I'll save this for later. And then you can use the stencil that the base that you just made is now going to be your stencil for your other parts of your coffee cup. So I want book page on the back of this, and I think what I'll do is just directly glue it on there and then cut it off. What is the topic here? It looks like it's drama. So I'm just going to glue it down. I'm going to use glue stick for the center area. Oh, actually I can use the glue stick all the way around the edge because I've got that surface underneath. Then I'm just going to flip it over and then cut it out. Ooh, I made a big mess. This is a great tool to have a roll of tissue. Cheap craft tools, craft supplies. Okay, I'm going to try to get that to stay down. Okay, then I'm going to cut this out and then decorate up the other side. It's a little sticky and moist right now. Probably would be ideal for you to let it dry a few minutes between the gluing and the cutting. Sometimes I go on to other things. I might cut out that last bit after I work on, let that dry for a second while I work on another part of this. So I'm going to use this. This was part of my original big stencil, and I am just going to use that as my decoration on the other side. So I'm just going to match up the bottom of my stencil with this. The base is literally my stencil now to make sure it fits on my card. So that's going to be my topper for my coffee. If you guys like this, let me do the other side. Okay, let's see if that's a little bit drier. Yep, it's slightly easier. If you like this miniature series, I can do more. I have a lot more ideas and a lot more examples of things I've made in miniature. I'm going to ink this up first to make it look kind of rustic. I have not been inking as much as I used to. I have found I kind of like the look of some things not being inked, but a cup of coffee just seems to be crying out for coffee stains and brown edges. Looks warm and cozy. And I'm going to use a piece of this packaging for my coffee sleeve. I think I'll just tear that off to make it a little easier to work with. So I want it to be a little bit under that. Let's see if I can manage that. I have a cricket. A cricket has found its way into my craft space. Let's see, about this halfway down. I'll make that here to here, and then here to here. Okay, just measure corner to corner there. And it's going to be way too thick for what? Too wide or, too long on the sleeve. So I want it to be maybe about here-ish. I want to save this other piece for another coffee cup, I think. Let's see how wide that is. Yeah, I think that's good. And I am going to tear off the back of this corrugated cardboard piece to make it a little less bulk. And when I glue that down, I'm going to leave it open to be a pocket. A little more shave off here. So you can see as I'm snipping and trial and erroring it, it does not have to be perfect. So this is going to be my topper. I think I'm going to ink the edge of this. And the edge of this. Because it's brown, it may not take it very well, but I've even stuck my stuff in the ink pad to really make a hard, dark edge sometimes, and I like the way that looks, to get a lot of ink on it. Okay, there we go. Let me glue that down. So I have ideas for tiny file folders, tiny envelopes, things that you could make to decorate your page with and to make unique journaling cards out of. So if you like those ideas or are interested, I'd be willing to make a video on in a series of miniatures. Just going to snip off what I see on the other side. And I might ink up this too a little, just a little bit. Okay, and let's see, where is my sleeve? It's about here. So I'm going to do the right and left only, so I have a tuck spot. Kind of have to hit the high edge of the corrugated cardboard. Let's see, about there, yes. And then I want to label. Also, I'm going to try to imitate one that I made that I put a little bit of, just a snippet of red on one corner. I think I'm going to do that again. Just cut this out a little bit. I just thought that looked neat. Just a bit of red on that corner. I'll trim that in just a second. And I need a label. Let's see, this is my, this is a recycled, repurposed tiny photo album, and I just made it into a ephemera holder for labels. I followed some excellent tutorials that I saw online, and I have filled it with my own homemade labels and some that I have made from rubber stamps. Let's see. I want one similar to what I used. No. Oh yeah, I think this was one that was similar to the one I used. Yeah, but I think I'm going to ink the edges really heavily to make it stand out. I made these labels with faux tape and things like that, and some of my own rubber stamps, and just cut them into oval shapes and then put them through the copy machine so I could keep using the same design over and over and over. Once you find a good design that you've made, make copies of it so that you can keep reusing it. Now I need something to go in that pocket. I dug in my tag box where I've kept tags that I've made, and this one's just using rubber stamps that say coffee break. Actually, that looks pretty cute. I might stick that in there as a little tag. I don't want that to come popping up yet. That's pretty bulky, and it's not that visible. This one may be too long for my coffee cup. Yeah, I think it kind of blocks part of the coffee cup, and it might get caught on the corrugated stuff. So I think this little one that says coffee break will be the best bet. There we go. So there is a journaling card. It's unique. Oh yeah, I was going to trim off the edge of that corner. And I might do a little decoration here on this back side real quick. And I can use my own rubber stamp again. Maybe I'll just use this one around the edges. Oh, that's not showing up very much. There we go. Maybe do a couple of shadow stamps. Second generation, third generation. All right, so here's an example of some miniature journaling cards that are unique and so much fun to make. You'll kind of get addicted and be making little tiny journal tags over and over and over. I might go back and make some of these tiny ones too for miniatures, but this one gives you more space to write on, I figured. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.